All right, so we are here at Heartland Film Festival and we're getting ready to interview these amazing filmmakers. Me and Rosemary are very excited.
Hi, my name is Rosemary Papa. We're here with The Real Deal, which is Ball State's premier entertainment news show. But could you just tell me your name and what film you're here representing today?
My name is Joy Dietrich, and I'm the director-producer of the documentary Attachment Project. It's in the Indiana spotlight. I grew up in Indiana, believe it or not. I live in New York right now, but I came here to the state where I grew up just for the premiere of my new documentary.
And then what do you want the audience to take away from your documentary today?
I guess it's, I kind of leave the ending. You have to see the film to understand what I'm talking about. Sort of open-ended, because life and attachment is a journey. My documentary looks at 3 adoptees' journey bonding with the adopted parents. So I shot mostly in Indiana and Ohio. So it's a real heartland film.
Thank you so much. I wish you luck the rest of the day. Thank you.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good.
Nice
Great.
to meet you. I'm Rosemary.
My name is Greg Storvik. I'm the artistic director. Fun name for the movie guy that helps select all the films. So yeah, I started in 2012, so it's 12th year doing this, so it's great to be back here in Newfields. We get to celebrate here as a dream maker for these filmmakers, so I'm also a dream killer for a lot of filmmakers too. So I really do appreciate the people that didn't make the festival, but yeah, we're really excited to honor and showcase these amazing films around the world. A lot of premieres, a lot of Hollywood tentpoles, a lot of true independent films that they might never get distribution, but the festival circuit is their theatrical run, which is really cool. So it's a blast to do it, to get to know people, to see people come back. We have a filmmaker premiering a film after he was here 10 years ago, and he collaborated with somebody else. We met here to star in his film, so it's really, really cool to see the long game and to experience everything. So it's been great.
Yeah. And then what brought you into this field originally, and kind of what has made you stay?
So I always loved movies. I got involved, studied communication and some film, little screenwriting and stuff too. Nothing enough to be dangerous, I interned at Disney twice, and then I fell into graphic design because you need like a real paying job, and there's other things like, girlfriends and wives and all that kind of stuff and family. So it's finding that balance, and I became a volunteer here at Heartland Film, helping with marketing, covering community screenings, volunteered to be a pre-screener, and anybody who wants to do that, you can sign up on our website, take a little test, and watch a lot of films. It sounds fun and romantic, but it takes a lot of time, and not all the films are great, but when you find a great one, you're like, yes. And once you're one of the first people that saw the film and it made the lineup, you're like, wow, I was part of that process, which is really cool. Yeah, so I started as a volunteer, was the director of marketing, and then moved into artistic director back in 2016. So it's a blast. It's a lot of fun.
And then you said a little bit about it's hard to find kind of a good film, but what makes a film good in your eyes and in the eyes of just the festival?
Yeah, we go on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being not great in most respects, to 5 being phenomenal. But essentially, it's like, hey, I need to share this with an audience. Did I just watch that? It sounds cheesy, but getting kind of like those goosebumps, like you're like, wow, I just saw something cool. Not checking your watch, like, oh, wow, like that was, how long? Was that 30 minutes? Was that 3 hours? I don't know. But if you're not checking your watch, if there's great flow, if there's nothing that's taking you out of the film, there's like authentic world building, just clicking on all cylinders, we think it can resonate with our audience, because it might be a great film, but maybe it's not a right fit for our fest or our community. So we really are a community-based festival as well. Yes, we have some industry, we have a lot of filmmakers come in, but we have really smart audiences that have been here for decades, and I think they expect a certain level of quality as well, too. So yeah, that's kind of the special sauce that we look for as well.
Well, thank you so much for stopping to talk with me, and it was nice meeting you.
Hey, nice to meet you, too. Hey, how are you?
You guys look amazing, by the way.
Thank you.
I love all the vibrant colors.
I've not worn a suit since before COVID.
Oh my goodness, so this is new for you.
This off.
Yeah.
I'm Anthony Lucero. I'm the writer-director of The Paper Bag Plan.
Hi there, I'm Kealohi Lucero. I'm the executive producer and producer of the Paper Bag.
Hi, I'm Diana Lino Sancho from the Paper Bag Plan, and I'm an actress.
Amazing. So what does this film mean to you guys?
The film itself is about a father who has a disabled son. The father, when he gets cancer, he decides to train his son how to bag groceries so that he'll get a job and eventually have a life of, he could make his own paycheck and be on his own. So it's a meaningful film because my brother was disabled, and my brother couldn't do much of anything. So had he had the ability to bag groceries and get a job, my mom, our family would have been overjoyed. So this film touches a little bit about my family's background, and I just wanted to show everyday heroes that you don't see and you don't hear about, and that's why I wanted to tell this story.
Amazing, and that's why I love the power of filmmaking, and I'm sure you can relate.
Exactly.
What was it like producing this project?
It was very difficult, but I loved it as well, and so different from what I usually do, which is reality TV. So it was great to be in a different world within the same industry and to see my husband do his thing, and he's pretty darn amazing and brilliant, but I loved it. Yeah.
What was it like acting on this project?
Oh, it was such an honor to be part of the cast. The extraordinary lengths they went to casting Cole Massey, whose performance is amazing. It truly is a breakthrough performance because he is part of the disabled community, and he just made this look so effortless. And then with his directing him and Lohi overseeing our production, it really was quite the family affair. You will also see Lance Kinsey, who most people know from Police Academy, but this is a much more serious role. It's groundbreaking for him too as well. And so for me to be part of this cast, it spoke volumes to my heart. I am a mother of a special needs son who's actually here, who has autism, and so I've worked for years very closely with the special needs community. And so when I learned the themes of this movie, I just said, yeah, I want to be a part of it, and I think it's going to touch people's hearts and minds, and really also maybe make filmmakers out there consider diversity and representation in the special needs community and taking those chances.
Surprisingly, I'm a social work major at our college, so this definitely relates to me and my potential work, so I love to hear it. So I wish you many luck tonight and in your future endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hi, you guys look great. Thank you. Okay, my name is Rosemary Papa. We're here from Ball State.
I am Devin Seidel, and I am here with Love Danielle.
Amy Byers-Shainman here with Love Danielle.
Okay. And then could you tell me a little bit about your film, just like what it's about, what inspired you?
It is about a person with a BRCA gene mutation, and it follows the difficult decisions that that person has to make in order to prevent the risk of developing cancer. And it's actually based on my own personal story. Yeah.
And then what was that process like, taking your personal journey and putting it into something for other people to see? What was that like for you?
Oh my gosh. It was incredibly healing. I was sort of able to process a lot of the trauma that I went through surgically and psychologically. And looking back on it, I think I was able to find a lot of comedy, which was reflected in the film.
And then would you guys have any advice for young people that are looking to get involved in media or filmmaking, something like this?
Patience, we just said this before. Definitely network. A lot of the business is meeting people and work with good people, actually. I would rather work with someone who has less experience but was a really good person and a hard worker than someone who had a ton of credits, and was difficult, because it makes a set much easier.
And then what are you guys most looking forward to today?
Oh gosh, this is our first day here. We're just meeting all these new people. We met Greg and Evan, Greg who runs the festival. It's, we're kind of, my eyes are just sort of starry-eyed, and I don't know, I'm just very excited to meet everyone and
see the movie.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today, and I hope the rest of the day goes really well for you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hi.
My name's Jen Bradwell, and I'm the co-director of a documentary called Make a Circle. We're on the film festival circuit right now. We're going to be on public television next year, and our film is about the other end of the education spectrum from college. It's about kind of the dumpster fire that is our childcare system, but also what people are doing about it, specifically the early childhood educators, like preschool teachers and people in daycares. It's a real labor struggle. There's a union storyline in the film. So it's about how difficult things are, but also like just the amazing impact and the beauty of the work and what we can all do about it.
And then was there a sort of personal tie that brought you to this topic specifically? Like what inspired you?
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky enough to work on a lot of impact documentary films that have had a hand in changing culture and changing policy. But I'm also a parent of young kids, and so I think anyone who has young kids, like childcare is it's like this private struggle to like find it and afford it, and we're not necessarily thinking about it as a voting issue. And we had some preschool teachers that we were connected to come to us and say like, hey, what do you think about doing some storytelling around this subject matter? It's like such a big issue, but it's invisible in a lot of ways. And so we just took that leap of faith with them about 5 years ago, and here we are now. Yeah.
And then would you say this film is different than other ones you've done in the past?
I've worked on some other films about education before, ones that were about childhood trauma, one about dyslexia that was really interesting. This is definitely like the youngest group of students that we've filmed with, because they're as young as babies. And it's so awesome to film with young kids because they don't have any self-consciousness yet, and they don't care that you're there, and they go through this like rainbow of cinematic emotion every 10 minutes. It was like such a joy to film with them. And then early educators are just like the coolest people in the world, and they're really charming and wonderful. And we think about our film as this like charm offensive. Like you're going to come out of this film thinking like, oh my God, what are we doing? We should be paying these people like what doctors earn, considering how much they do for our communities and for our economy. So that's the goal.
And then what was the biggest challenge working with an age group so young?
Sometimes you get like sneezed on. And we had the bizarre timing of starting to film 1 month before the COVID lockdowns. And so that was difficult. Like we had to film outside for a while and like through doorways and just like a one-man band shooting crew to keep the risk down. But then we also didn't want to just tell a COVID story. We wanted it to be evergreen, and so we kept filming until like masks came off. And we're also following like a union labor dispute in the film too, and so we wanted to make sure that had a satisfying ending. And we finally got there, but it was about 4 years of shooting and like hundreds of hours of footage. And so the editing process is a while to distill that down into a watchable feature film. But yeah, here we are.
And what does your team look like? Like how many people went into making this film possible?
Yeah, so my husband is a co-director, and he also filmed most of the footage. And then I, as co-director and also the main editor of the film. There has been some, like our producer, Rebecca Ferguson, she's really amazing. She also is a parent of young kids, so she really lives and breathes the issue too. We had a pretty small crew, which is typical for documentaries. You might have like 4 or 5 like core people that are wearing a lot of hats to make it all happen. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. It was really nice to meet you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
So where should I stand?
So we are with Ball State Real Deal. So go ahead and introduce yourselves and what film you're representing.
Sure. My name's Stephen Graham. I'm the writer, director, and star of Sheepdog.
And I'm Matt Dallas, and I play his best friend, the Daryl Sparks, in the film Sheepdog.
Very cool. And what is this film about, and what does it mean to you guys?
Oh boy, let's unpack this one. I'll say to you, when we first started out, 2011, and we met with our very first veteran, it became deeply personal to both of us, and there was no turning back. And we made this commitment, that we would complete the mission or die trying. And we're just happy to be standing here alive in front of you because it's been a long 13 years. It's been a hard-fought battle, and we're incredibly gratified to be able to share this film tomorrow night with everybody because it means so much to us.
Filmmaking is a painstaking process, but the reward is well worth it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm super proud of this film. I mean, again, like Steven said, I've been a part of this project for the past 13 years, and I've been working in the industry since 2003. I mean, I think I booked my first professional job in 2003. And so I've been an actor in films, but to be a part of something from the inception has been something super rewarding. And then on top of it, to be a part of a film that is so much more than just a movie. It has a real mission and a really deep drive and meaning behind it.
Cool. And what are you hoping that the audience can draw from this film?
that you matter. That if you just hang on, if you do the work, if you can commit to doing the work, it does take a village, and it takes support, and it takes key people in your life, to get you there. But it's a noble battle, and it's worth fighting, and it's, I think just on a really, I don't want to oversimplify this, but, often civilians aren't sure how to approach a veteran, and they typically are like, thank you for your service, right? And typically that can feel like a very hollow gesture to a veteran. I think the conversation needs to start now with, how are you doing? And our hope with this film is to entertain, of course, but is to enlighten people on what our men and women in uniform go through when they come home and what their families go through.
I think that's very valuable for the audience to see. Very well said.
Yeah, I'd just like to piggyback on that a little bit. I know our film follows veterans and their process reacclimating into society and dealing with past trauma, but for me, this film is very personal because I think it deals with anybody who might feel alone or feel like they're struggling, whether it be PTSD or trauma. I think that it will be a film that will speak to everybody, to know that there are people out there, and there is a community, and there are people that love you and are there to support you.
Well, I'm so happy that you two are here providing this message, and I wish you luck tonight and in your future. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Rosemary. We're here from Ball State with The Real Deal, which is Ball State's premier entertainment news show. But if you could just tell me your name and why you're here today.
Sure. My name is Daniel Nayeri. I'm the screenwriter for Re-Entry, which is a sci-fi film starring Emily Deschanel and Sam Trammell about the early days of a sort of a scientific discovery where this woman's husband is lost in a lab accident. And so while she's mourning him for the worst year of her life, he is missing until about a year later when he returns. And so for him, it was only 10 seconds. For her, it was a horrible year. And so it's about the story of their marriage and how to manage something like that, where one of you has gone through something as traumatic as that, and the other has no real point of reference.
And what are you looking for the audience to take away from your film?
I think all good sci-fi is sort of a metaphor for what we were going through, right? That's sort of the idea of sci-fi in a lot of ways. So I think to capture the idea of what it's like to be in a relationship with someone, and something happens, and it can be anything, right? It could be an accident, it could be a car accident, or it could just be any sort of traumatic event where they sort of come back changed. And how do you do you reshape the relationship around this new person? Do you hold out for them to go back to the way they were when you fell in love with them? What do you do when you've got like 99% of the person you fell in love with?
Was there anything that you discovered about yourself or your own personal life while creating this film?
Sure. I mean, there's an old adage that says every 7 years you're a completely different person. And it's true, right? In relationships, I've been in a long-term relationship, and it morphs and it changes. And I think one of the most beautiful things is the idea that you grow into a better partner for the person that you're with, and hopefully, and they do the same. And so there's a really beautiful cycle there as well. I think on the face of it, in a conflict riddled film, it might be that people are diverging as they change, but I think the most beautiful thing in the world is that you change into each other and help each other. So
if you could go back into time, a little sci-fi, what would you do differently about your film?
What would I do differently about the film? Well, I'm the writer, which means I cringe about everything. Like, I am not a fan of my own writing. So I would change every single line of dialogue I could, but that's not because I don't enjoy it. It's because I as they said, Pablo Picasso once said, I don't finish paintings, I abandon them. And I think that's fair. I at some point have to let go, but I would keep changing until I passed out. That's sort of what I would do. But
And so how do you know your writing is done if you keep wanting to change it? Is it just like the deadline, or how do you know that's good?
Well, I depend on some readers who I really, really trust, my wife being one of them, the director of this film being another, and I will hand it to them, and they sort of will be really good first readers and give me a sense of like, okay, this will work, this is gonna. But even on set, I'm someone who's always thinking about how to maybe try to make it a little bit better.
And do you have any advice for people who do cringe at looking at their work? Because, I mean, we're on a show, and I always cringe at seeing myself. I don't want to watch it on YouTube.
It's painful, right? This will hurt. Well, I think you have to forgive yourself quite a bit. I think that's always a skill to learn as you get older, is to give yourself a little bit of mercy. But I think artists in general tend to fall into two camps, and you can tell which one I fall into, which is this kind of perfectionist camp where you can become very precious about one thing and end up working on the same novel or the same screenplay for decades and decades, and you're not going to make a lot of progress doing that. Now, the other side of that coin, of course, is somebody who's iterating as fast as they can, and they take no time to polish anything. That can be a vice as well. So I don't have that habit. I have the habit of being a little bit too obsessive, but somewhere in the middle is probably the right path, right?
Okay. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. I hope the rest of the festival goes really well for you. Thank you. If you could just tell me your name and a little bit about why you're here.
Absolutely. My name is Brendan Chouanet. I'm the director of Reentry. I believe you just spoke with my producing partner and the writer on our film. And yeah, I'm here to world premiere our film at Newfields on Friday night, which has been is really a dream for us. The film is a grounded sci-fi drama starring Emily Deschanel, and she'll be out here to support as well and answer Q&A from the audience afterwards. And this is a film that I've worked on since the first idea came in August of 2018, and it was just a scribble of an idea that here we are 6 years later. And I put all my heart into this film, and having the opportunity to debut it at Heartland feels so appropriate, and we're so excited about it.
And then he talked a little bit about how the entire film is a metaphor for sort of going through changes with your relationship and partners. And I kind of asked him the same question, but I'm curious if you found out anything about yourself or your personal life through pursuing this film that you didn't know before.
That's a fantastic question. First of all, thank you for that. Absolutely. I think, one of the interesting things is, my producing partner and the writer on the film, Daniel, is an incredible writer, but he's also been a great friend, and we've been best friends for almost 20 years. And so when I came to this idea that was very much inspired by some of the experiences I had in my own life, to have someone who knows you so well start to write something, it was really in rehearsals and then on set that I start to see some of the aspects that he brought in from my own experience, because he was drawing on from me, the filmmaker, as into the characters. And so I think there's a lot that I learned about myself and about really about my pursuit of things that I'm passionate about, and but also trying to show up for others whom you love in that process.
And then how do you think that this filmmaking process will shape your future films?
I was just asked a question about that I think was similar, which is, what advice would you give to aspiring filmmakers? And I think I would impart sometimes the same advice to myself, which is creating the momentum of this project is happening and getting to the point, and you have to, you go through the rumination period and the writing period, but getting to the point where you're ready, like this is going to happen. Because that's what then gives people the opportunity to come alongside. We've been so fortunate with the cast that we have, but they couldn't come alongside until we said, "Hey, here's the movie we're making. Here's the dates we're making it." Right? And I think that that's something that it's such a mountain to climb to make a film, especially independently, raising the money and then all the aspects that go into it. I think that every time you sort of now that this one is premiering, when you get started on the next one, a lot of the goal is try to start that engine again, right? And learning from that experience of saying, this movie's happening, this is what it's about, this is why I'm passionate about it, and really finding that idea that makes you go, I can go 6-7 years with this idea and I'm still fascinated by it. I think about this film and I'm really proud of it, and I'm still excited about the content that the themes that are in it. Yeah.
And then did you face any challenges convincing people that this idea was worthwhile?
This is the first time that I've made a film with the caliber of experience in the cast. And so I think a lot of our experience was getting the script read. And I think that we were so fortunate that our dream cast, when they read it, they loved it and they connected with it. Noman Dumezweni was the first actress that we had a meeting with, and that meeting will always be crystal clear in my brain, because it was this moment where it was a shared passion, right? She entered that meeting, and I'm thinking that I'm pitching her on participating, but it automatically became, this is how we're doing this together, right? And I think that having the confidence of a cast like ours, who I respect so deeply as artists, I think gave us all of the energy we needed to make this film on a very short shooting schedule that independent films have.
That's beautiful. And how did you know that this was your dream cast?
It's a great question. I think that so the film stars Emily Deschanel, and I've loved her work. We in Bones, it's where I knew her most. But I think that this movie offered a different character. But it's a character that I feel like, having observed her work, and then more importantly, just speaking with her and getting to know her, I felt like this character was something that she could really go deep with, and did. And she showed me so much about the film through her own experience of it. Same with Sam. Sam is our lead, our male lead, and he was, he came in and he said to us in our first meeting, like, this is the kind of film I wish I would have written. And to have that kind of buy-in and meeting with someone and someone who, again, whose work you respect and whose talent is so immense, get it right away. We had that experience over and over again, and it was just a thrill to have that experience.
Well, I'm glad this experience has been so rewarding for you, and thank you for talking with me, and I hope the rest of the festival goes well for you. Thank you. It was nice to meet you.
Cut that bit. Cut.
All right, that wraps up our night. I love talking to these filmmakers, and I'm sure Rosemary did too. It was a pleasure. Thanks, guys.